Abel Sanchez and David Benavidez telling you exactly what Boxing Ego has been telling you, Ego thoughts. In this video, I'm going to break it down, and this is regarding Canelo versus Crawford. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I continue to show my greatness in the sport of boxing when it comes to my diction and giving you boxing analysis that you could take to the bank. You notice everything that not everything, but a lot of things that I say, you then hear former trainers and current trainers and champions start reciting everything that I've told you on my channel. So I'm in great company and I'm not worried about it. In a brand new interview, Abel Sanchez says, quote, Terence Crawford, I don't care if he goes up to 200 pounds. He doesn't have that enough time to do that. If he fought 3 or 4 guys already at the weight, built up his work ethic and strength by competing and beating up guys at that weight, which is super middleweight, 168 pounds, then I could see it, right? David Benavidez says, quote, weight classes are there for a reason. Crawford struggled with Israel Madrim off his size and power at 154. Jumping straight to 168 pounds against Canelo, who's been able to be comfortable there for years, is a huge risk. He needs to fight. He needs a fight to fill out at that weight, or he's walking into a buzzsaw. This is what Benavidez had to say, right? Abel Sanchez says he's ballooned up to whatever he is, which in my opinion is the worst thing he could have done. I would have kept him at 170 pounds, the weight he's going to fight at. That way, he wouldn't have to lose nothing. He could be as strong as he could be at that weight instead of what I understand he's in the 190s. If he's in the 190s, he's going to have to drop down to the high 160s. That doesn't make any sense to me. Literally, Abel Sanchez is telling you verbatim what Boxing Ego told you. I told you the whole Crawford weight thing. This is why this fight is foolish, because you're bulking up to then cut weight, right? That is like buying all this hair care products for braids, buying like oils and rubber bands and do-rags and looking up braiders, doing all this work for braids. Is it the braids? Right? You're doing all this work for braids and then you shave your head. You see how dumb that would be? Like, why did you put in all this effort looking up braiders, taking screen grabs of braids that you like and styles and designs, buying the oils and rubber bands and whatever else it entails, combs, right? You did all of this to shave your head. Like, it kind of defeats the whole purpose. Like, if you're not growing braids, then you probably shouldn't do the necessary prep work for braids. Same thing with Crawford. Terence Crawford is moving up from 54. He's not really a permanent resident at 54. And then he put on all this size only to drop the size because he has to make weight. So it's real roller coaster, up, down, up. You know what I mean? Because when he weighs in the next day, he'll probably replenish. So I guess he's hoping to replenish back to a higher weight. But here's the thing with that. Canelo has been at this weight for much longer. So Canelo's going to replenish to a higher weight. If you look back at the Amir Khan fight, look it up. I don't have to hold your hand through this, but I'll drop and impart the knowledge. If you look at the Amir Khan fight, Amir Khan got knocked out by Canelo. After the fight, he said that Canelo rehydrated to 183-ish pounds, somewhere in the 180s. So Canelo was rehydrating to 180 plus back then at Canelo weight when he was fighting at 155. Since that time, Canelo Alvarez has been fighting even higher than 154 or a Canelo weight of 155. And for the last 9 years, he's been over 160 pounds. So he's mad fights in to 160 plus pounds. Chavez Jr., his first fight out of 154 was at 164.5. Bud has never fought even that. So I agree with Benavidez and Abel Sanchez is exactly what I told you. Bud, long layoff, didn't take a tune-up, didn't take acclimation fights. That, to me, would have gave you a better fighting chance and then at least made this fight more realistic. See, one of the reasons why this fight that I've hated it, because it feels like a Ponzi scheme. It feels like the old switcheroo. Like you get everybody in the room, you get people's attention, and then it doesn't live up to the expectation, right? And I feel like if you did not want to do that, there were ways you could have got people excited because the two don't really have a crazy backstory. So you could have created some energy by having Crawford build up and do a fight, at least one fight, but hopefully two fights or so at 160 plus, fight Adames, fight Janabek, Diego Pacheco, guys like Hamza Shiraz, Berlanga, anybody. Fight one of them guys, at least to announce yourself in the new weight class, and then people probably would have taken it more serious. The buzz for this fight seems completely down. And it's crazy. You got people who say they know boxing, and they're like, Crawford, early stoppage. What makes you feel that way? Why? Where's your breakdown? Other than just saying it, what makes you feel he's going to stop Canelo early? I understand he's a great fighter, but I don't know. It just seems like a very uphill battle. We will say that. It feels like a very uphill battle for Terence Crawford. No rehydration clause, no weight clause. He's just moving straight up. And you're going to have to get Canelo's respect. If you don't respect your power, it's going to be tough. It is going to be very tough. So we'll see. But I just feel like no matter what Bud has been training for, let's say he's been training for a year, like the maximum amount of the time you could have been bulking up is a year because you fought Madrimov in August. So from August to September, you could have packed on weight. So that's still a year. Kell Brook was younger than Crawford, and he moved up to fight Triple G and got battered. Danny Garcia, who's known to have snap on his punches and be a hard puncher. Tank Davis has an interview where he said the two hardest punchers that he recalls is Rolly and Danny Garcia. But then when Edeslandi Lara fought Danny Garcia, he didn't get bothered at all by Danny Garcia's punching power, even though at like 140 and to a lighter fighter like Tank Davis, Danny Garcia, talk about Danny, champ of the world, Philly, Octa Valentinos, right? Danny was hitting hard and Danny was cracking. So it goes to show you that weight classes exist for a reason. What is a formidable punch to Tank Davis is not the same to a much bigger Edeslandi Lara. That's like Caleb Smith, right? Caleb Smith, he got good power at 168, 175, right? But if he were to fight Usyk been in there with 6'6" Joshua and 6'9" Tyson Fury and a 6'4" Daniel Dubois and Derek Chisora and guys at cruiserweight like Gassiev and Tony Bellew. So you think Caleb Smith will have the power to hurt and badly knock out Alexander Usyk? Do you understand? Like, these are weight classes. That's why weight. And keep in mind, Caleb Smith is 6'3", so he's tall. So he has a frame. There's other 6'3" heavyweights. So he could go up there if he just bulked up and went up there. But I'm telling you, especially without properly acclimating, Caleb Smith would get dog walked by any heavyweight because these heavyweights, imagine fighting Wilder, like Caleb Smith fighting Wilder, bro. Imagine that. Wilder's putting down big old Luis Ortiz and Tyson Fury dropping him. how can Caleb Smith, like, what makes you feel like Caleb Smith would be able to withstand that? You know what I mean? Top tier heavyweight shots, especially if you don't give yourself the best fighting chance, a year plus layoff and no tune-ups, no acclimation to the weight. Even guys like David Morrell and David Benavidez that I rate very highly. I like both of them. Pause. But when they first moved to 175, it took some getting used to. David Benavidez was knocking everything out at 68. 75, has he had a stoppage? He didn't stop Alexander Vodstick. He didn't stop David Morrell. You see what I'm saying? Just different game. So people picking Canelo by stoppage, that makes sense because Canelo has been fighting bigger guys. This is the first time that he's fighting somebody smaller. But to pick Crawford by stoppage is just like, it seemed like more wishful thinking, in my opinion.